go.
Here we are with another episode of Talking Sports with the Legend. Tonight's guest, Chris Williams. Take
Hey,
it away.
man. What's up? Thank you for coming on.
Steve, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you having me. I was getting a little nervous. I wasn't sure if I was going to make the cut. When you called me, sent me the information saying, Chris, I need you to come on. You made my day, partner. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank
No
you.
problem. Yeah, thank you.
Well, check this out, Steve. Before we get started, I have to ask you one thing. I know it's evening, but I need you to say good morning like you always start off the day. That's going to get me going. And I know this interview will be great. Can you do that for me, partner?
Good morning, everybody.
Let's get it. All right, I'm ready to rock.
Where were you? Where were you? Where were you born and raised?
Born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Grew up in the Germantown section, Mount Airy. Love my parents, Robert and Dolores Williams. So again, I can't complain. Philly straight through. Love the Phillies, Sixers, Eagles. That's what I get down with.
Did? No. What age did you start playing sports?
Great question, Steve. In all honesty, I was playing sports since I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. Contrary to popular belief, my first love was football. Love football. Again, I'm a little disappointed. I have to say this. My favorite team when I first started following football was the Dallas Cowboys. I love Tony Dorsett. That was my guy. So growing up, I was a huge football fan. During that time period, I played a little bit of everything. I played football, basketball, baseball. I ran track. I ran cross country. So I did a little bit of everything early on. Not until about maybe, I'm going to say, I was with football up until about 10 or 12. So about 10 or 12, I started to really figure that basketball was my deal because I was getting hit a little bit too much. I was growing too tall.
What? Where did you go to grade school, high school, and college?
Sure. Started off at St. Benedict's. And great story for that is one of my childhood friends, Cardinal Doherty graduate, Sean Scurry. We both went to we both went to kindergarten together. And our parents became very close. And we weren't sure, meaning my family, where I would go. And Sean's brother, John Scurry, rest in peace, also a Cardinal Doherty grad, and went to St. Benedict. And we wanted to remain close. So I went to St. Benedict. And I grew up with a number of good guys, good people, and that's the theme of my entire life, being around great people. And again, at St. Benedict had a great basketball career and just becoming who I was there. In 8th grade, we were fortunate enough to win the CYO championship in basketball. Some good players in Mark Sutherland, Sean Scurry, Ryan Porter, Ron Hargrove, a number of guys, Marcus Simmons. And from St. Benedict, we went to Cardinal Doherty. Funny story with Cardinal Doherty, my parents actually wanted me to go to Central High School. During that time period, obviously, I think still now, Central, a very good school. At the time, it was all boys, excellent education. And I promised my parents, Steve, if you allow me to go to Cardinal Doherty, I will promise you I get a scholarship. So I really wanted to go to Cardinal Doherty. I wanted to be with my boys, Sean, Mark, and all those guys so we could be together again. And it worked out well. Went to Doherty and can't complain from there. Everything went very well. You know, if you want to talk about basketball, but more importantly, met very good people. And basketball wise, fell in line, played freshman basketball my first year there. Could not complain. We had an excellent year. I think the high point in my freshman year basketball wise was we went down to Roman Catholic. It was a perennial power. Still is now, was then. We beat them at the buzzer. A good friend of mine, Alan Watkins, who graduated from Roman to this day, he can't believe we still beat them my freshman year. But after my freshman year, sophomore season, I was able to play some varsity basketball. But again, it was a number of guys who were a little bit older than me and more mature, leading the way. I did not play a lot, but I learned a lot. Guys like Bobby Capolino, Elliot Devane, Anthony Fleming, those guys were a little bit older and more mature. I think physically and possibly at that time I was skilled enough to play varsity, but those guys were much more mature. So I did not play a lot, but I played on a good team with those guys, learned so much. And then my junior year was able to play some significant minutes. I believe I was a second team All Catholic my junior year. And again, credit goes to players that I played with. Can't say enough about those guys. Coaches, Mark Heimerdinger, enjoyed playing with him, playing for him. Coach Patterson, Coach Leonetti, Charlie Macklin, all these guys were influential in developing me into the player who I became. Now, my senior year was a big year for me, Steve. My senior year, going into it, I knew I could be one of the best players in the Catholic League. However, I worked so hard during the summer, I started to realize I could be one of the best players in the city. And it worked out so well. Coach Heimerdinger made a really great decision that changed my entire basketball lifestyle. He moved me from the shooting guard position to the point guard position. So I went from maybe a D2 type player to a legit Division I prospect. And again, playing with so many good players helped out a lot. Guys like Dave Bistel, Mark Sutherland, Mike Kearney, Mike Keenan. I can go on and on. These guys were just influential in my development. I was able to possibly get my shot, but these guys were able to lift my level because they were good at scoring the ball also. I can't leave out my buddy Sean Scarry. We've been together since day one. But all these guys were so good during my senior year. We were able to get in the first round of the playoffs. We lost. But at this time, if there's any city people listening and watching, I want to apologize because I was so disappointed, Steve. We weren't able to get over that hump. We lost a tough game to McDevitt, but previously we had lost a game to LaSalle, and I was undercut on a dunk, and I lost my front tooth and a couple of teeth on the bottom, and we weren't the same after that. So, but again, loved that senior year, had so much fun, which was a springboard into me getting into college. Again, I know fans like you in that loony bin I love. It was so much fun my senior year at Cardinal Doherty.
Did you get to play with Katina Mobley?
Great question. My senior year, Katino Mobley was a freshman, and I loved Cat Mobley. And to this day, I jokingly tell people, I'm Cat Mobley before Cat Mobley. He's just a better version of me. So again, he's a good friend of mine. Love the fella. During that time period, he was kind of my mentee. He kind of looked up to me, and I just really wanted him to do well. So proud of him to this day. He had a tremendous pro career, and he's even a better person and player. So again, mad love for Cat Mobley. But all my people out there listening, Chris Williams is Cat Mobley before Cat Mobley. He's just the new and improved version of me.
Where did you go to college?
I was very fortunate. After Cardinal Doherty, I received a scholarship to go to Manhattan College. I had a number of offers. Again, that was my dream. And as I told my parents, if you allow me to go to Cardinal Doherty, I will get a scholarship. It worked out well. I had a number of schools on the table, and I wanted to stay in Philly. I wanted to play in the Big Five. The Big Five was big for me. And most people, I think they know this story. I verbaled to LaSalle. My last three choices were LaSalle, Loyola Marymount, and Manhattan. I had narrowed it really down to LaSalle and Marymount. During that time period, if anybody remembers, Bo and Hank Gathers went to Marymount. They were very good team. They would call me and let me know in advance, well, Chris, we're trying to score 200 points. I remember one night they scored 180 points. They couldn't get there, but they were close. So they said, you will fit in well, up and down system, big point guard, you like to score, athletic. So I thought about it, but I knew it was in California, so I was kind of leery of it, so I wasn't sure. I knew here in Philadelphia, or at least in Philadelphia where you all are, I'm in West Palm Beach, Florida right now, but up in Philadelphia, I knew LaSalle would be good again. That's when Lionel Simmons was there, Doug Overton, Randy Woods, Jack Hurd. So I knew if I went to LaSalle, I would be on a good team. Now, Coach Speedy Morris, Hall of Fame coach, He was very honest with me. He said, Chris, your first year, you probably will not play a lot because at this time period, you're not better than Doug, you're not better than Randy or Jack, which I was fine with. But Steve Lapis, head coach in Manhattan, he comes in and seals the deal. He did an excellent job stealing me from Philadelphia. He comes on a visit, home visit, and he explains to me, well, listen, Chris, I understand that you verbal to LaSalle, but I appreciate you allowing me to come into your home. He said the one thing that changed everything for me. I understand you would love to stay in Philadelphia, but I know those schools want you. We need you. And that resonated for me. I had to think about it and I prayed on it, went up on my visit. I love the school, love the campus. Once again, Steve, love the people. I come in with a tremendous recruiting class. So I decided to go to Manhattan. Now, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. I was homesick initially because I love my Philly. But when I get up there, like I said, I was with a part of a great recruiting class, a gentleman by the name of Kerry Edwards, Kerry Wilson, Eric Gottlieb, Keith Bullock. We were probably one of the worst teams in Division I basketball when I get to Manhattan. I think it's about 300 or so schools in Division I basketball. We were around 290 something, 2 something, which is not a good thing. So from my freshman year to my junior year, we get better considerably. My junior year, we make it to the MAC championship. And guess who we play in the MAC championship, Steve? LaSalle. We play LaSalle in the MAC championship my junior year. And again, I know I took a lot of flack in Philly about going to Manhattan. Like, Chris, why are you going to Manhattan? It's terrible. They're terrible. You're going to screw yourself up. But one of my promises to my friends and everyone is that at some point, we're going to be as good as LaSalle. We'll be able to compete with them. They beat us in a really close game by 1 point my junior year. We learned from that. We go to the NIT tournament rather than the NCAA. We win 2 games. Our first game, we beat Wisconsin Green Bay in a barn burner at our place. We go to Rutgers at the Rack in Jersey. We beat them by 1 point at the buzzer, and I score a right-hand layup, Steve. I'm a lefty at the buzzer. So that tells me, listen, we're on the right track. And we lose to Notre Dame at Notre Dame with LaFonso Ellis, who works on ESPN right now, does a great job. He was an incredible player. So going into my senior season, we knew we would be good. We just knew we had to take care of a lot of just the business as far as MAC and trying to get to the NCAA tournament. We have an excellent year. And I'm the leader. I'm the point guard. I'm getting a lot of guys involved. And my senior season, we win by 1 point in the MAC championship. We beat Niagara. I make a free throw to get us over the hump. We go to the NCAA tournament. We lose to Virginia at the Carrier Dome. We were a 11 seed versus a 6. So again, I cannot complain about my career in Manhattan and meeting good people again. Can't talk enough about people and my surroundings make me much better.
That's awesome. The team that Virginia was at, Ralph Sampson's a lot older than you, a little bit older than you, right?
Yeah, Ralph's a little bit older. On this Virginia team, Corey Alexander, who was an NBA pro, he was the point guard. He works for ESPN right now. Junior Burroughs, he was a pro for a while also. So again, they had some good players. It was a winnable game, but as I tell everybody in hindsight, because our school had not been to the tournament in 38 years, we kind of turned things around. I think the euphoria of just us making it was overwhelming. And we were probably good enough to win that game. Obviously, if you 6-11 is close, but I think that had something to do with. But the following year, that 1995 team that came after me, they went to the tournament to see the at-large bid, first time in MAC history, and they win a game in the tournament. They beat Oklahoma. So nice. I think we left an impression there after my class left.
When did Lapis leave Manhattan to go to Villanova?
Great question. After my junior year, Steve Lapis was able to move on to Villanova. So I played for Coach Lapp for 3 years. Happy birthday to Coach Lapp. Today is his birthday. 3 years, yes. In my senior season, I played for Coach Fran Frischella, who works for ESPN right now also.
Awesome. Very cool. Awesome. Yeah, I knew my son Steven didn't remember Lapis, but I sure as heck did. As soon as you said that name, I remembered he did come from Manhattan, and then I was like, I wonder, when I couldn't remember when he left to go to Villanova.
Yes, after my junior season, Coach Lab was able to move on to Villanova. That was his dream job, but he left us in great position.
When you were a freshman at Doherty, was that Heimendinger's first year, or was he already there before that?
You know what? I tend to believe he was there previously, my first year. Didn't interact that much with Coach Heimerdinger my freshman year. Funny story. The only interaction basically was we used to have to wait and watch the varsity practice before obviously the freshmen would practice. So I would be up in the loony bin, me and my boys laughing, playing, having a good time. And Coach Heimerdinger says, listen, Chris Williams, come down here and practice with the varsity. As I stated earlier, talent-wise, I was probably good enough to play, but mentally, physically, not ready. And these guys were trying to trap me and do all these different things to throw me off. I was just playing for my life, and I just remember him saying, Chris Williams, you're not ready. And I kept it in my mental Rolodex. So I said, when I get to this level, I'm making sure I try to destroy everybody. So he was there, and I remember him well.
When you guys, did you guys go to the they had the PIAA?
No.
Tournament?
No, we didn't have that during that time. But you know what I was looking forward to was playing at the Palestra or playing at, I think we played the finals or the quarters at Villanova. But once we got beat at home by a very good McDevitt team. We didn't go any further. We had finished in first place, actually. Finished in first. I think that was a 1-4 matchup, if I remember correctly.
Did you guys ever win the champion? Did you ever win any championships?
Well, Steve, I was very fortunate. Like I said, in 8th grade, my St. Benedict's team, we won the CYO Region 5 championship. Some really good players, like I said, Sean Skerry, Mark Sutherland, Ronald Hargrove, Ryan Porter, all my guys. We were so good in 8th grade. I think we were well advanced at that level. Did not win a championship at Cardinal Doherty aside from winning the division championship my senior season. And at Manhattan, we won the regular season championship my junior year, lost the finals to LaSalle in the MAC tournament. And then my senior season, we won the regular season championship and the MAC championship. So I've won some championships. And I was very fortunate, Steve, also, I was inducted into the Manhattan Hall of Fame. So cool. I have a couple of things I can hang my hat on, but more so, I think that has a lot to do with winning because as I said during my Hall of Fame speech, I didn't break any records. You know, only thing I really came in there to do was win and kind of help change some things around. Me and my boys, I jokingly say when I'm on the air now, because I do some broadcasting, we made it fashionable to be a Manhattan Jasper again, basketball-wise.
Well, that's something really to be proud of, especially for the fact that that you guys got them into the NCAAs while you were there.
Yes.
And I do remember that. I'm a little bit older than you. Graduated from North Catholic in '81. Okay. So I followed a lot of your guys' careers in high school, and then when you guys went on to college. And,
thank you so much.
No problem.
And I remember playing against North Catholic. I know they were a tough school. Yeah. I remember going there. The fans were tough. I remember all of that Northern Division nostalgia. I can remember going to Ryan, that being very tough. And I enjoyed my high school days. I thought they prepared me well for the college level. And I can't say enough about the people I played with, played against. Bobby Coppolino was one of the guys I looked up to. Thought he was a very good player. He was a Northern Division MVP. John Jones, Dickie Horn, those guys were there when I first got there. And then guys previously, like I talked about, John Scurry, Lou Stevens. And then once in a while, I see on the Cardinal Doherty, I guess, Facebook page, people talk about some of the best players. And again, I appreciate that my name is mentioned with some of the good ones that I heard about, as far as obviously Catino Mobley, Kyle Lowry, what's the young man's name? I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. I think it was Reed. I think people have said he's probably the best one out of all of us at some point. If somebody can help me out on his name, I think his last name was Reed. Or is
the running back? The guy who
what's the first name? If you say his first name out, it'll come back to me really quick.
Lawrence Reed?
Yes, Lawrence Reed. I heard Lawrence Reed was a killer. Yeah. I heard he was the best out of all of us.
Yeah, he went to Michigan on a football scholarship, man. He was a great
I heard he was a very good basketball player. So again, I appreciate my name being mentioned. Some of the people you thought were very good. All I really wanted to do was entertain you on a Friday or a Saturday. Hopefully you got a smile once in a while.
What was your major at college?
My major in college was communications. As you can see, I'm a professional talker. I knew all along I wanted to get into broadcasting after I graduated. And fortunate for me, I do some broadcasting now for ESPN, for the MAC, and I'm a motivational speaker, actually a best-selling author. I have a book, 20 Beautiful Men. So right now, everything that I thought I wanted to do is coming to fruition.
That's awesome, man. It's great.
I'm trying to be like Steve, man. He's killing it out here. He's my model. He's keeping it high for me. The bar is high.
Ask him that one there, 13.
What's the biggest game? Right?
Yeah.
What's the biggest game you ever played in?
Oh, good question. At what level? Any particular level or just overall?
Your college career.
Oh, no question, was the MAC championship my senior year. Again, we had lost the previous year to LaSalle. So going into it, and I've said this time and time again during my broadcast, if you want to talk about pressure, talk about being a high seed at a mid-major, going into your tournament, it's a one-bid league. All the big power schools, you understand, well, listen, they're going to get 4 or 5 bids, whatever number. But if you're a mid-major and you know you have to win this tournament to get into the NCAA tournament, regardless of how good of a record you had all year long, that's major pressure. And I thought me and my boys did a great job of handling that from the experience we had the year before and winning the championship my senior season. So that definitely was probably the biggest game of my career.
Yeah, because Stephen, helps out at Holy Family University, and
I'm aware of it. Yes, I watched Steve.
And that's the same thing. You got to win the tournament to get into the NCAAs.
Well, not
at their level. What's that?
Yes.
No, I know, but I'm saying during non-COVID times.
Yeah.
And
Right. This year has been totally different, Steve. You're right.
Yeah.
This
I
year
tried
has
to
been
explain.
different.
I tried to explain to him like the stuff that you went through. He went to a Division I, but because it was a smaller, conference that they were in, only the team that won the conference got in.
Only
and
that team
left. They made it an at-large bid because of the success they had when Chris was there.
Right.
See? And it's hard, and even now they opened it up to 69 teams or 70 teams.
It's 68 now, and actually have some playing games this evening, if I remember correctly.
Exactly, yeah. And then that's what I said. And back then, only teams that got in it were if you won your conference, and then all the big schools, like
right, only 64,
all the big ones.
Yes. Love the shirt, Steve. I had to rep with you also, brother.
Yes,
sir.
I love it. Yeah, he always makes sure he wears a hat or a shirt.
I love it, man. Now, Steve, were you there when I played? Did you catch any of my games by chance?
No, Stephen was he was there from the age of 14 until 21.
Okay.
So he was there he got there in 14. You were born in 87. Yeah, 2000. We had 2001 or 2002, and then he stayed till 2008.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So who was playing during that time period?
Kyle
Lowry was a senior.
Yeah.
I was a freshman.
We got to see all them games. They had 5 kids that all went up going Division I schools.
Yes, that was a super team.
Yeah, and that was Heimendinger at his height, but they had some great games, but they couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It's a shame. Steve, ask him this one here. This is a good one, especially now that he does all that other stuff. Ask him who was his best one he met.
Who's the most famous person that you ever met?
Oh, great question, Steve. I don't really get into famous people. I kind of try to treat everybody the same, in all honesty. But I'm going to keep it homegrown. I like my man, Catino Mobley. I'm going to go with Cat Mobley. That's my guy. I don't really consider him famous. That's my brother. I love him. But I know he's seen a lot and done a lot, so I'm going to keep it homegrown. Catino Cat Mobley is my guy. Lefty.
Yeah, well, he's our guy, too. We followed. My niece was a cheerleader when he was there, so we got a chance to see him play too. That was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Yes, he was a killer.
Yeah. Ask him. Who do you announce for? You said you do the MAC games?
Yes, well, I do Manhattan games, men and women, and I've done a number of MAC schools also within the conference, and I do a lot of ESPN3, ESPN2. So I'm trying to work my way up the ladder. So many people who do it, just grinding away.
So you're living down in Florida, and so I
Yes.
guess this year you did them all remotely, but how about next year? Are you going to be flying
Well,
back?
ironically, I was able to travel back during the basketball season. Very fortunate. I was able to stay in Philadelphia with my father. And I would go up to Manhattan during the games. And with it being a COVID season, during the break, I'd get back down. Yes, I recently moved to West Palm Beach, Florida. One of the best decisions me and my wife have made. Cost of living, quality of life is perfect for us.
That's awesome.
How
That's
far have
awesome.
you traveled? What
Yeah,
game
that's a good one. Yeah, what was the furthest you
Great
traveled?
question, Steve. Well, initially, before the season began, we drove up together. My wife is a luxury floral designer, so she usually has events up north. So we left the car in Philly. So anytime I need to get back, I would fly back. So it's a 17, 18-hour drive, 2.5-hour flight.
Jeez, that's a heck of a travel.
Part of the grind, but I love it.
Where did you play in the NCAAs when you played Virginia? Where did you guys go to?
We played at Syracuse in the Carrier Dome.
Nice.
Huge in there.
Yeah.
Huge in there. Had a
biggest
good time during that period.
Was that the biggest arena you ever played in?
Yes, indeed. No question about it. Listen, Draddy Gymnasium at Manhattan seats about 35,000. I think the Carrier Dome is about 60,000 or so.
Yeah, well, that's pretty good though. Did you got a lot of your guys, I guess, went up to see us, right?
You know what? Ironic, that's part of the change. Most of the teams at the mid-major level, if they're going to be good, they have to have a couple of guys who are professionals. And when you're at the mid-major level, it's usually not the NBA, it's going overseas. So our best player was Keith Bullock, who was the conference player of the year. He played overseas, I believe, in Turkey for a couple of years. Our center, Jamal Marshall, he was a little bit younger. He played overseas. Shooting guard, Brent Birmingham, played overseas in Iceland. I think he actually became a citizen over there. He lives there now. Kerry Edwards played overseas. I may have been the only one on that team who played significant minutes who never played professionally. I always tell people that I wasn't good enough. But in hindsight, I think I could have played overseas. My goal at one point was to be in the NBA. I didn't have enough passion during that time period to pursue it. That's why I think Tino Mobley, who comes after me, had more of that push to get it done. Actually, my senior season, I was invited to go to camp with the Boston Celtics. But I told myself, if I'm not in this 100%, I'm going to do myself an injustice, the players who are there an injustice, and the coaches who wanted me to come. So I said, I'm not up for it.
Yeah, and you went the route that got your education and you got a job, right?
It worked out well for me. Speaking of job, my first job out of school was with the Philadelphia Phillies. I had been doing an internship every summer. So I worked in the sales office for about a year or two with the Phillies as my first job out of school.
No way. Well,
Yes.
a good friend of mine and my wife went to high school with her. I went to college. Her name's Kathy Killian.
Come on, Kathy,
Yes.
that's my girl. Ask her if she knows Chris Williams.
Well, Stephen just interviewed her.
Holy family, correct?
Yes.
Come
She
on, that's
went-
my girl, Kathy.
Yeah.
Small world.
Yeah,
I spoke at Holy Family Camp a couple of times because of Kathy. Loved her when I worked for the Phillies. So she still works there.
Yes, she's now
Unbelievable.
she's now a vice president.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, she's doing great. Yeah, I went to Spring Garden College, and that's where she played at. And then when she graduated, she started coaching out at Holy Family a couple years after we graduated.
Oh, please tell her I said hello. Yes, she should definitely
Absolutely.
remember.
As soon as you said the Phillies, I started laughing. And another guy I met, I work at a auto tag store in South Philadelphia, and my boss actually went to Doherty. He grew up at 5th and 65th Streets, right on 5th Street, right across the street from the reservoir. So one day I'm in there, and this guy comes walking in, and it was remember the umpire Craig, the heavyset.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
He passed away. His son came into my work, and he worked for the Phillies. It was probably after you were gone. And he came in one day. I started working at my job in South Philly in '93, and
Nice.
he came in, and a real nice kid. And he was actually, like, I think he was interning at the time, and he was working for the Phillies.
What's his name? Because again, I was working during that time period.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was I can't think of the. Oh God, I can't think of the umpire's name. Yeah, Eric Craig. It was his son. He had two sons, and the one was named after him, and then the other one was, but his last name was same thing, Craig. And same as the umpire. I can't think of his first name. He might have been. He might have came after you though. When did you graduate from Manhattan?
I graduated from Manhattan in '93.
Right.
I started working for the Phillies that summer, as soon as I came home. And I worked up until the strike. I can't remember when the strike occurred.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was a couple years after that. And then I said, yeah, and I can't remember when he came in. Yeah, but it's so funny, since I've been working down there, I've had Lionel Simmons' brother used to come in all the time. Wow. So then I met Lionel through that job. And then one day I'm in the office, and then who walks in the door but the Dikembe Mutombo.
Get out of here.
Swear to God, he was back in town, and he kept his house in Villanova, and he came in to renew his registration. So as soon as he walked in the door, I opened the door, and I'm behind glass and everything, and I opened the door, and I go out and shake his hand, and he's like, "Yeah, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Great." I said, "What are you doing in Philly?" And he's like, "Oh, I just came back he was at the United Nations making a speech, and then from there he went to it was when the Sixers were in the playoffs. I think it was like 3 years ago, and he was going down to watch the Sixers game.
Unbelievable. Like I said, it's a small world. Small world.
Yes. And I said to Steven, and then, like you said about Cat Mobley, it's not just about how great of a basketball player Mutombo was, but he's a great man, and all the stuff he's done after he retired with the, building hospitals in Africa.
Yes.
He's, brought awareness to that area of, the world where he grew up.
No question about it.
I'll tell you what, Chris, you're a big, nice representative of Cardinal Doherty High School. I'll tell you that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Well,
you said it best. Obviously, athletics mean a lot in our society. Again, you're not going to be able to play sports your entire life. Nobody can.
No.
So you want to try to be the best person you can. And that's what I've been trying to do. And again, my man Steve has a high bar he set for me. So I'm trying to follow suit with you, brother.
You're doing pretty good, man. You're doing pretty good. Well, ask him the last one, Steve. Your favorite question.
If you could have dinner with 2 athletes that could be dead or alive, who would they be and why?
If I could connect with any athlete, dead or alive, it has to be an athlete.
Yeah, somebody in sports. That doesn't have to be
it has to be in sports.
It could be a coach or.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 of them.
Let's see. 3 people or just one?
Yeah, 3.
All right. I would love to sit down and have a conversation with Michael Jordan. I'd like to pick his brain a little bit. Let's see. Let's go with a coach. Would love to speak with John Wooden. Heard so many great things about his coaching style. And again, everybody tries to do things similar, and how many games he won at UCLA. It will be up on that list. And let's see, anybody else? What I never got a chance to actually talk to Coach John Chaney.
Oh, yeah.
He'd come watch me play one time. I would like to have a sit-down conversation with him also.
Yeah, he's another great man, another great man. And that's the one thing about John Wooden that a lot of people didn't give him enough credit for.
Yes.
Bringing in a lot of the black guys back in the 60s and 70s when it wasn't as popular for these coaches to do it. And, he never seemed like, you never heard him ever have a bad word to say about anybody, right? Somebody of a different color. And that was a big thing back then, Steve. Yeah, when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's name was Lou Alcindor back then. Yes. And he went to UCLA. And a lot of people always perceived, athletes as being stupid. And if you ever listen to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar speak, he's one of the most intelligent people you'll ever meet, regardless
Very
of
sharp.
what sport he played. And that's what like Chris, is doing with his career. If you didn't know any better, you wouldn't have known he played sports until he starts telling you about it. And that's what a lot of the guys in those businesses, some of them played, but a lot of them didn't. They're just good talkers and, good communicators. But he used his degree to the full extent. And like he said, he went to communications because he likes to talk. And that's what I was going to do if I went to a bigger school. My school didn't have none of that communications. It was either management, accounting, or engineering. My school was all about. So,
well, check this out. Just from watching previous shows, I love the way you guys connect. I can see in the future both you and Steve on the camera together. Just tossing it out there.
Yeah, well, thanks. That's what that was what we talked about years ago. Before I said I'm going to write a book, and it's going to be about me and him, and it's going to be called The Dad of the Legend. There, and
Here we go.
Tell the story of him, but also I had a pretty interesting life myself. So it was great talking to you, Chris. I tell you, you were one of our favorites, and you were like a surprise to us because when Mr. Leonetti, Big Rick, hooked us up with you. He told Stephen before, he goes, I'm going to get you a lot of good guys, and some of them you might have heard of, and some of them you didn't. Right. And it was funny because I remember your name. That's why I said to Stephen, I said, I kind of remember him back in the day, and I couldn't remember, everything. And then I was talking to some people, and then some other people I was talking to back and down in South Philly. They know who you are.
I appreciate it. I really do.
They know all the ball players down there. They love talking to me about basketball because they know I know a lot about it. And even though I wasn't that good of a player, I didn't play high school or nothing, but I love watching it. And we always talk ball down there.
Oh, that's great stuff. Well, other fam, I said, what's up? I appreciate the love. And if anybody wants to check me out, and they can go to my website, hearchrisspeak.com. Obviously, Steve and I follow each other on Facebook, Chris B. Williams, and on Instagram and Twitter, Hear Chris Speak. So again, it's all love. I love Philly. Anytime I can do something to help, you guys just give me a call. I appreciate you putting me in the rotation, Steve. I was getting a little nervous. I said, man, I haven't gotten a call yet. I can't make the cut. So I'm glad I got in.
Well, we're glad to have you, and I'm so glad Rick introduced him.
Coach Leonetti, my man.
Yes, he is the best, man.
Are you doing any games? Watch me.
You know what, Steve? I believe my season is over. I did my last MAC game in Atlantic City on the MAC tournament. I think that was last Thursday. So if you get a chance, I think you can listen to some of the replay games. You go to ESPN Watch. I would love to get a critique from you. So as of now, maybe I'll get a call, but as of now, I haven't called. Anyone hasn't contacted me doing any more games, at least college games.
Well, we can't wait for next season because that's what I was going to tell Steven. We got him a couple of different channels up on his TV, and we're going to definitely be watching Manhattan now for sure.
No question. Well, check this out. I'm going to go a step further. Once things clear up, and I'm going to project this and put this out in the atmosphere, for the MAC tournament, it'll be in Atlantic City again. I will invite you two down to come check out some games.
Oh, that's great, Chris. Thank you very much.
Done deal.
Man.
Done deal.
Take care, man. We love talking to you, man. That was great.
All right, be cool, fellas.
Appreciate everything. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.